Welcome back to my 3-part series on survivor's guilt. In episode 1, we explored what survivor's guilt is and how it affects those who experience it, particularly after a road traffic accident. If you haven't watched that episode yet, I encourage you to check it out. I have posted a link in the description below. Today, in episode 2, we're focusing on how to cope with survivor's guilt. This is such an important topic because survivor's guilt can feel incredibly isolating. It's something I've personally experienced, and I know how overwhelming it can be. But it's also something you can navigate and heal from. I'll share some practical strategies that have helped me and others find peace. Before we dive into specific coping strategies, I want to take a moment to acknowledge how complex and isolating survivor's guilt can feel. To give you an example, I'd like to share my personal experience. Although nobody died in the road traffic accident I was involved in, I couldn't shake the overwhelming guilt of surviving. By all the laws of that accident, I should not have made it out alive. That thought haunted me for years. I kept asking myself, why me? Why was I given this second chance and somebody who had their whole life ahead of them not survive a similar accident? These questions consumed me, but I felt like I couldn't talk to anyone about it. When I tried, people didn't understand. They would say, nobody died. I don't see any reason for you to feel like this. Their reactions made me feel even more alone and ashamed of my emotions. It took me years to understand that my feelings were valid, to begin forgiving myself, and to take the first steps toward loving and accepting myself again. What helped me was realizing that I had survived for a reason, even if I didn't know what that reason was at the time. I needed to find purpose in my survival. I'm sharing this story with you because I want to emphasize that you are not alone in feeling this way. Survivor's guilt can be incredibly isolating, but it's a shared experience for many. I hope that by sharing my journey, I can give you some insight into this complex emotion and, perhaps, a sense of connection and hope as you navigate your own healing process. Now that we've acknowledged the emotional weight of survivor's guilt, let's talk about how to cope with it. Healing isn't linear, and it takes time, but these strategies can be valuable tools along the way. Let's take journaling. One of the most powerful tools that helped me was journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can help you clarify emotions and gain a sense of perspective. For example, you could start with prompts like, what am I feeling right now? Or what do I wish I could say to those I've lost or about my experience? Journaling doesn't need to be perfect. It's about creating a safe space for your thoughts. Therapy is another invaluable tool. A professional therapist, particularly one trained in trauma recovery, can guide you through this journey. Cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, is especially effective for addressing feelings of guilt and reframing negative thought patterns. Reaching out for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength, and it can make all the difference. Mindfulness and relaxation techniques. Mindfulness was a lifeline for me. It taught me to stay present, acknowledge my emotions without judgment, and find moments of peace amidst the storm. One simple practice you can try is deep breathing. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, focusing on the sensation of the air entering and leaving your body. This simple exercise can help calm your mind and ground you in the present moment. Other mindfulness practices, like meditation or yoga, can also be incredibly helpful. The key is finding what works best for you. Lastly, don't underestimate the power of connection. Sharing your feelings with trusted friends, family, or support groups can help you feel less alone. Coping with survivor's guilt is a journey, and it's not one size fits all. What works for one person might not work for another, and that's okay. The key is to keep moving forward, one small step at a time. If you have questions, personal experiences, or tips that have helped you, please share them in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and your insights could help someone else watching this. Next week, in the final episode of this series, we'll focus on moving forward and rebuilding your life after trauma. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss it. Until then, take care of yourself, And remember, every step forward is progress.